Good evening, and before we get started, I have to mention that we all have to acknowledge that this meeting is being recorded. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters, guests, and honorary guests. My name is Ray Melendez. I will serve you tonight as Sergeant at Arms. Once again, we start another exciting meeting. I want to ask everybody to do our best to avoid all distractions, including phones. Actually, I should do it myself. Let's continue with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's get our meeting started today. This is our first meeting, February 2021. I will pass the meeting on to our president. Is he here? I did not notice. Shastri?
Yes, I'm here, Ray. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Good to see you back.
Good evening, fellow. Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests and our dignitary, Jan Green. Today we'll have a fabulous meeting. We have several icebreakers, so I'm looking forward to be entertained. So before I do start the meeting, I'll share our mission statement, which is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence. Now, I'll pass the meeting over to our one and only, our Toastmaster of the day, myself. All right, so the first section of our meeting are formal speeches, which are prepared speeches based on specific projects in our communication manual or pathway program. This evening, we have 3 speakers. All of them are icebreakers. So everyone are winners tonight. Toastmaster Micheline. Hold on a second.
Fix it.
For some reason, I don't have the functionary roles here in my script.
I just signed up for our counter, so just to let you know, I saw that.
Okay, I'll just go through my agenda here because it's not in the script that I have. Shay, you could start us off as our counter. Could you explain your role as our counter?
Yes, Toastmaster of the day. The purpose of the odd counter is to know any word or sound used as a crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections, repeat startings, us, I will be using this handy flashlight to indicate when someone says a filler. So that should pretty much stand out for you. Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shay. Micheline Gonzalez, our grammarian, could you explain your role?
Toastmaster of the day. One benefit of Toastmaster is that it helps people improve their grammar and word use. Being grammarian provides an exercise in expanding listening skills. I have several responsibilities to introduce new words to members, to comment on the language used during the course of the meeting, and to provide examples of eloquence. The word of the day is pariah, noun. It means outcast, usually a social outcast. I encourage anyone speaking during any part of the meeting to use pariah, our word of the day. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Michelle. And hopefully tonight I won't be a pariah. And in order for you to help me to do that, please clap, put notification or reactions in the Zoom platform.
Yes.
All right, our timer, Sonia Garate, Toastmaster Sonia Garate. Could you explain your role as timer, general timer?
Toastmaster of the day. I will be looking at the time for each speaker. I operate the timing signal to indicate speech length. Timing begins with the first verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. As timer, please note whoever is speaking to pay attention if you see a red color behind me. as this means you get to wrap up as quickly, professionally, and efficiently as possible. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia. All right, so now to our first section of our meeting, which are formal speeches, which are prepared speeches based on specific projects in our communication manuals or pathway program. This evening, we have 3 speakers. Toastmaster Micheline, please provide us with the project information for our first speaker.
Yes. Hello all. I have the privilege of evaluating Deanna this evening. The project length is 4 to 6 minutes, and the purpose of her speech is for the member to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. Diana, thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Micheline. Timer, please demonstrate the timing signals for this project.
Yes, at 4 minutes, you will see the green background. At 5 minutes, you will see yellow. At 6 minutes, you will see red. And at 6 minutes and 31 seconds, I will clap you off.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia Garate. All right, without any further ado, hopefully Diana is ready. Please welcome Diana Salazar, giving her first speech, Icebreaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shastri. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, and guests. Have you guys heard of the English proverb, children are meant to be seen but not heard? I've got to tell you, I have no idea when I first heard this, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't in my household. But however, for some reason, I seem to have stuck to that. Growing up, I was never outspoken. I would speak only when spoken to. Maybe it was said to me at the nun school I attended or the military school I attended in Colombia at an early age, or I don't know, maybe it was just me. Either way, I just would not speak when, on my own, I would not. So to say the least, I absolutely hated summer camps or any activities that my mom signed me up to, because that meant I had to speak to strangers. I had to be surrounded by anybody I didn't know. It was horrible. I would cry. Soon after moving to the US, I discovered Barnes & Noble, and I absolutely loved going there. I would have my mom take me there at least once a week, and I would come out with 1 to 2 books, at least, minimum. Well, let me tell you, I did not realize how bad my aversion was when it came to public speaking until my dad started pointing it out. His favorite story to tell is when he first met me, which was on a take your kids to work day, sorry. That's when he first met me. He said I was at the back of the group, arms crossed, super unapproachable. I did not speak to anybody that was there. I did not want to participate. If I had to do something that was creative on my own, I was good. But aside from that, I was kind of leave me alone. That's the attitude that I had. As he became a more important role in my life, he started to try to encourage me to come out of that, because he would his follow-up story to that would always be that I didn't order my own food at restaurants. I refused. I would tell one of them so that they could talk for me. So as the years went on, he encouraged me. I started doing these things on my own, such as even going up to the counter and asking for napkins or a fork. I just wouldn't. As I got older, he started telling me that I needed to find my own voice. That was the goal. So the first step that I recall where I made that step was in high school. I willingly joined a cheerleading team, which meant I had to be in front of the entire school for all activities. but it wasn't so bad. I wasn't by myself. In the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. Still, I would mess up all the time, but I kept doing it and I stuck to it all 4 years. And it was the beginning of breaking that shell. It's been a work in progress. I even did leadership roles in organizations such as Key Club. However, I'm not gonna lie, it was more of my lack of ability of telling somebody no. I was friends with the leader and they're like, come, you need to, run for this. And I was like, oh, okay. More out of obligation to my friend as opposed to me wanting to be a leader. So that's how I progressed. Little did I know it was a learning experience, an opportunity for me to grow without me trying. Even in college, I joined a sorority and became president for 2 years. Again, same situation though, not willingly. Just kind of like going along with my friends and them volunteering me for stuff. But it's been a work in progress. I can at least be here today to give this speech, where before I probably would not have. I even recall during those years as president, I would shy away from public speaking by delegating. There was a couple times I would do it, but the words just don't come out right. One time I even was addressing somebody and her name was LaDanya, but it came out as lasagna, loud and wrong in front of everybody. It was horrible. But I kept trying. I keep trying, and I've been fortunate enough to have joined my job, which they're like a family. My boss and the CIO know that public speaking is one of my weaknesses, but they constantly encourage me to speak in front of them, speak in front of a room full of people. They see other strong qualities and have worked and continue to encourage me to work on this. There's times even to this day where they'll tell me, okay, you need to start over and speak in English so that everybody else that is not technical knows what you're talking about. Which, that challenges me to stop, take a deep breath, and start over. So, with their encouragement, here I am today joining Toastmasters with the goal of continuing to improve my social and public speaking skills in the hopes of one day being able to lead a team. Public speaking is a part of self-growth that is constantly evolving no matter of where you started from. Now you guys have a better understanding of where I started, where I am, and where I hope to be.
Wow, Diana, incredible job. You said children are to be seen and not heard, which is one of the labels we tend to put on ourselves, and parents tend to put on us as well as barriers. But I see you as someone breaking that barrier, conquering your fears, and I'm so proud and so inspired that you chose Wellington Toastmasters. So keep up the great work. All right. Toastmaster Ray Melendez, please provide us with the project information for our second speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shastri. Our second speaker for today is Denny Lamore, pronounce it right. He's going to be giving also his icebreaker today, which will be 4 to 6 minutes long. Purpose of his project is again to introduce himself to the club members. Here was his speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ray. All right. Today, Danny will be giving a speech, and I forgot to do this for Diana. Speech titled, Little of My Story. Intro, I'd like to welcome Danny, last name Lamore, meaning love in French, birthday, Valentine's Day, making his debut icebreaker speech titled, A Little of My Story. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, Shastri. for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests, for being here today. I believe that I am a compilation of my life experiences. Again, my name is Denny Lamore, and I'm from a little bit of everywhere. Born in New York and raised in Haiti, I believe I was gifted a special viewpoint in life. Not only that, but I'm also Black Cupid. I have joined Toastmasters to learn how to better express exactly that. From the American dream to Haiti's harsh realities and back again, life has always dealt me the most interesting hands. Growing up, I got to see and experience many moments way above my grasp. I never understood why I was so different than everyone else all the time. I felt like a pariah, but I could always fit in though. Through the blessing of two healthy and beautiful parents, I was gifted all the natural abilities a person could ever wish for. But with no male role model until the age of 23, I learned a lot of what I know through trial and error. A major point I took away from the experience was to always be aware of my environment and adapt. I can recall being taken and dropped off with a brand new guardian in a brand new country in a brand new school. Have you ever experienced being moved abruptly from one place to another that had completely different cultures? If you have, then you know that it is never an easy adjustment. From what I've been told about myself due to last spring, I fared well against odds that were stacked against me. I never got through any of the obstacles alone though, and that proves true through today. It is important that I highlight the roles women in my family played. At one point or another, I was cared for by at least 5 different women in my family, including my mother. My mother was a tremendous woman, and she always did everything in her power to ensure that I was safe and provided for. My circumstances dictated her decisions, which always led to the toughest decisions being made. If I were raised in New York, where I was born, I could not imagine being the same person I am today. Beside my mother, my grandmother played one of the most essential roles, laying the foundation of great habits and consistency during my most impressionable years. I remember long days and nights studying, practicing the piano, or whatever activities I was into at the time, skills that I utilize in other ways today. My 3 wonderful aunts who all got a short taste of living with dear old me, they taught me to man up uncannily. It might have been the only reason I remained a sensible human being throughout my journey. Today, I have a strong bond with a male role model, my godfather. He began playing a much needed role after very unpleasant circumstances. Today, I live for more than myself. I live for my mother, my family, and all the people she was helping in Haiti. I see no other purpose to live, but to live the livelihood of others. For the longest amount of time, I believed that I had to make it on my own. And because of that, I missed precious moments that I could never get back with the person I love the most. If I'm not having fun or enjoying myself, then what is the purpose? I found happiness in aiding, in being with others. I see a lot of pain in the world, which might just reflect my interior, but my hope is to ease some of it. So what is my life about? I can answer that now. I got diagnosed with depression a few days ago, but I do not plan on taking the meds. the suppression of our feelings and rights I can no longer accept. I will be numb no more. My purpose is to begin the movement towards a better Haiti. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, Denny. That speech was incredible. I felt your passion in my veins. I was just talking to your uncle just a while ago of how much potential that I see in you, and you just proved me right. Great job, and I'm practically giddy to see what's next. Thank you, Denny.
Thank you, President Shastri.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Lastly, Toastmaster Stacy Kessler. Please provide us with the project information for our third speaker.
It is with my honor and privilege to introduce to you this evening the project description for Woodlands Icebreaker. The purpose of Woodlands project tonight is to introduce himself to the club open-heartedly, vulnerably, letting it all go, not feeling like he's being judged, but feeling like he's being heard, seen, and felt this evening. Let's put our hands together for Toastmaster Shastri to introduce Toastmaster Woodland.
Without any further ado, the one and only Woodland Cassius giving his first speech, icebreaker speech, titled Get to Know Woodland. Woodland is a realtor at Century 21, and he joined Toastmasters to become a better real estate agent by becoming a better communicator. Please put your hands together for Woodland Cassius.
Sac passe, my fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, and most welcome guests. For those of you who don't understand Haitian Creole, sac passe means what's going on. Although I was not born in Haiti, my mom and dad are from there, so I'm able to speak a little Creole. As a realtor at Century 21, I want to take you on a tour to get to know the House of Woodland Cassius. My name is Woodland Cassius, and I am a Wellington baby, born at Wellington Regional Medical Center. I am 20 years old with two brothers who are younger than me, so that would make me the oldest. Although I am older than my brothers, at a young age, they would always speak up for me because I was always afraid to speak up for myself. Now I no longer want to be afraid. Now I will conquer my fears with a little help from my friends at Wellington Toastmasters. I want to become a confident speaker, not only to be the best realtor I can be, but also to be the man my family needs me to be. My dad was deported back in Haiti because he missed a court date, and it was devastating for my family. I was left as the man of the house at an incredibly young age. I still talk to my dad via Facebook, but he is currently not in our family's lives. My mission since my dad left has always been to make a better life for my mom. As soon as I graduated high school, I wanted to start producing for my family. After completing South Tech Academy, I decided I wanted to be a real estate agent for 3 reasons. To begin, I love the education requirements. You did not need to attend college for 4 to 5 years to become a realtor. The 65 hours of training plus 45 hours of training were all I needed to become what I always wanted to be. With that much time of training, I get the same chance as doctors and lawyers. the cost for schooling and testing are relatively low as well. Furthermore, you have the potential of making as much money as you want and build your business as big as you want it to be. It only depends on your determination and work ethic. You are in charge of your own time and schedule. There is no cap as to what you can make in the industry. Finally, there will always be someone looking to buy a house. It's the American dream. I recognize that the best way for me to get the American dream for myself and my mom is to help others fulfill their American dream. As a realtor, I want my clients to get to know me like you all have today. My method is to build trust and by being honest and open with my clients. I will take them to see as many houses as they want. I will respond to their phone calls immediately. And I strongly believe that by caring for the people that put their trust in me is the only way of becoming a great realtor. I joined Toastmasters because I see the need for me to improve my communication skills. I want to be heard. I want to be understood. I want the world to see Woodland Cassius. With the help of my friends at Wellington Toastmasters, I am well on my way of becoming a competent communicator. Toastmaster of the day.
Wow, 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 wow. That was incredible, Woodland. And as your mentor, I'm so proud. I'm not crying outside, but I'm really crying internally because, I'm so proud of you. And you've inspired a lot of people that are willing to come up and put themselves, open and be vulnerable. And I can't wait to see the transformation, the phoenix in you. So thank you for that powerful speech, that icebreaker. All right, so next is our table topics section. Before we do that though, if you can, please send a note in the chat to our speakers and suggest a couple points that you liked and 1 or 2 points that the speaker or functionary could work on for improvement. All right. Table topics is an opportunity for the members to develop their extemporaneous speaking skills. This is impromptu speaking. Guests are encouraged to participate. So guests, Melissa, do you want to participate tonight?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. Jordan? Okay. Do I even need to ask Siri? That's a yes. And Matthew Brown?
Okay.
All right.
I'll
Matthew, would you want to
participate,
participate? Okay, awesome. Perfect. All right. Tyler, could you give us the timing signals for this section?
Certainly, my favorite section, table topics. Please speak for at least 1 minute, at which time you will see the green background. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, yellow. And at 2 minutes, you will see red. Please conclude your table topics at 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia Garate. Without any further ado, please welcome our table topics master, Toastmaster Connie Andrews.
Good evening, everybody. I am so excited for our 3 speeches. Holy cow. Woodland, I could jump through the computer. I saw you today like for a second, and then you were gone today. I'm so happy for all three of you. Topics master. So this is going to get, well, this has already been said. It's just going to give you a great opportunity. You know, for anybody that I'm going to call tonight, you get to speak for 1 or 2 minutes. The table topics reflects the theme of the meeting. Today, the theme for table topics is transformation. And isn't that why we are all here, to transform, to ascend, to just be our very best that we can be? So please use the word of the week, which is pariah, and any other word that we've used in the past weeks. You can integrate that. So let's proceed with table topics. I am going to ask the question. I'm going to repeat it 2 times, and then I will call on the Toastmaster. Okay. So as I said earlier, this year has been a year, or 2020 has been a year of transformation, of improvement, of realizations for many of us. So this past year, 2020, what experience from 2020, the past year, do you appreciate the most? What experience from 2020, our past year, do you appreciate the most? And I'm going to call on Terry.
Yes, myself, Thierry. Yes. Just double checking. Hello, everyone, Toastmasters, members and guests. My name is Thierry. The experience that I appreciate the most in 2020 is the ability to collectively come together at a time when things are so difficult for everyone, to pull our resources together, to check on each other, to connect in new ways, even though we've been isolated from society as a whole, following mandates, keeping each other safe, completely turning around and changing our habits and reinventing things are the things that, to me, have been what I appreciate the most. The experience that I appreciate the most, though, is how much more connected I've become with my family through technology, whether it be my mother, whether it be my godson, whether it be my brothers or friends. It's just a matter of working together to spend time to do away with the constant gnawing of boredom that comes from not having the full gambit of activities that are available to us or that were available to us prior to the pandemic. And that ability, that human spirit to say, we will adapt, we will change, and we will overcome is what I appreciate the most given the circumstances of 2020. Thank you very much.
That was great, Terry. Thank you. Next question. What was the most enjoyable thing your family did together in 2020 that transformed you? What was the most enjoyable thing that your family did together in 2020 that transformed you? Matthew Brown.
Okay, so the most enjoyable thing that me and my family did in 2020 that transformed me, I would say quarantine, because even though everybody had to go through quarantine, I feel like at first, nobody enjoyed it. We were all getting into fights. We were spending way too much time with people that we see every day, and it was just getting on our nerves. but I feel like you found like the little things to like about each other when you were in quarantine. It was fun. It was fun to just wake up, see my sister, see my mom, see my dad, make breakfast, just talk. And we were in the house 24/7. What else were we gonna do? I feel like it transformed us because it made us stronger in the way that since we were together all the time, we had to deal with each other's issues. And to me, I just liked it a lot because I felt like that transformed me. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. Do we have time for another table topic? Timer, Sonia.
Yes, we have time.
Yes, we do. We actually have about 10 more minutes.
Question is, what do we all have in common? All of us, what do we all have in common besides our genes that make us human? What ties us all together? Beside that, we're all human. Toastmaster Jordan. Actually, I think Jordan, okay, good.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I'm here. Maybe repeat the question.
What do we all have in common beside our genes that makes us human?
I would say on a bigger scale, one thing that makes us all the same, I would say, is the point to live. And not only just like, oh, like living to die or dying to live, but the point to live, the point of waking up every day and being able to see that success is in front of us and join Toastmasters, go to the office, wake up every day, go to school, teach, go to the office job, and make sure we get through our day knowing that tomorrow we want to live again to see something better and different happen. I feel like that's all the collective, as in people want to all be good and we want to live good. So I feel outside of genes and being humans, I feel like every single person in this world connected wants to live good or live better in any and every situation.
Thank you, Jordan.
You're welcome.
Are you holding on to something? Is anybody holding on to something here that you need to let go of? What are you holding on that you need to let go of? Toastmaster High on Green.
Madam Table Topics Master, yes, indeed, I am holding on to something, but I do not want to let go of it. I am going to carry that with me for the rest of my life. You know why? Because learning is always fun. I went through a time when I was so arrogant. That's when I was about 20s, in my 20s. I was arrogant. I thought there was nothing I had to learn anymore. Went to the best high school, went to the best college in Korea. I was one of the smartest. I had smart friends around me. I thought life was good. I was on top of the world. Of course, that crashed very quickly. I started learning, I think when I joined Toastmasters, learning really seriously, learning to find my weakest point and learning to develop that weakest point into the best point in my life. And there is no end to learning. There is no end to communicating better with friends or in my workplace. And there is no end to learn how to be a servant leader. And that is the passion that I will not let go. And I promise you, I will keep that with me for the rest of my life. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hyon. If you could instill one piece of advice in a newborn baby's mind, what advice would you give it? If you could instill one piece of advice in a little itty bitty brand new baby born's mind, what advice would you give it? Melissa Brown.
Thank you, Toastmaster members and guests. It's my pleasure to speak with you this evening. One thing that I would impart on a brand new baby is that never forget you are worthy. You are important enough to, and deserving enough to expect greatness, achieve greatness, be heard, and be connected. And I think even for myself, there were times growing up where insecurities would take over and I would sort of be a shadow in the room instead of putting myself forward and speaking up. So I think that learning that at a very early age, it would be so beneficial. It would have been very beneficial for me to have that confidence very early on in life. And I think the same could be done with the newborn as well. Thank you, everyone.
After all this transformation that we've been going through, what do you love most about yourself? After all the transformation that we've been going through, what do you love most about yourself? Ray Melendez.
I apologize. Can you repeat the question?
After all the transformation that we have been going through internally and externally, what do you love most about yourself, Toastmaster Ray Melendez?
I can say that within this, especially this last period, this last year, I've had to figure out on myself, what can I do better overall? Whether it's with, as I said, for myself, for my family, my relationship with God, with my kids, and even my employees and you, my fellow Toastmasters here. So it's that ability of growing, finding out where can I go about and improve. What can I do better today that I didn't do yesterday or last year? Where can I go with this next? What are my next steps? How can we go about and improve? I could say regarding myself, that's probably something that I'm always looking forward and looking into.
That's wonderful. I believe that we are complete on our table topics. And do I get to review the people that did the table topics? So we started with Melissa Brown, Matthew Brown, Jordan, Hyon Green, Ray Melendez. Those were the participants for this evening.
And also Terry as well. Terry, I believe.
Terry, I am so sorry, Terry, of course. How can I forget you, the first one? Okay, so those are the participants that we'll be voting for in table topics. So back to you, Toastmaster.
Awesome. Thank you, Connie. Thank you for doing such a wonderful job, and all the questions were right on point and matched our theme of transformation. So thank you for doing such an excellent job. As always, bringing your energy. We missed your English accent, though. Maybe you could bring that next week. All right, now our third section. But before we do, I want to prep our invocation, Jack Miller. Jack, you'll be the very last person to speak tonight. So we'll leave on a good note, just letting you know. All right, so our third section of our meeting is evaluations. The gift of instant feedback, a key part of the success of the Toastmasters program. Please welcome Toastmaster Gary Nooper.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shastri. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Just want to congratulate everyone on speaking so far. There's 3 wonderful icebreakers, and everyone did a great job with the table topics as well. It's definitely been a great demonstration of Toastmasters speaking tonight. So good job to everyone. Timer, could we please have a timing report for the table topics as well as the timing signals for the speech evaluations?
Yes, table topic speakers were all within time. And for our speech evaluations, which, if you can remind me, they are between 2 and 3 minutes. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You will see the red at 2 minutes, the yellow at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and the red at 3 minutes. And if I have to, I will clap you off at 3 minutes and 31 seconds.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia. Moving on to our evaluations. Our first evaluation for the evening is Toastmaster Micheline evaluating Toastmaster Deanna.
Good evening, everyone. Toastmaster of the Day, General Evaluator, Toastmasters, our guests, and especially Deanna. What a speech. I'm so happy that I'm your mentor, and you have taught me something this evening that is really outstanding. Your speech, the title of your speech is Finding My Voice, and I think you did. You did it. Your introduction, we didn't get to hear it, so I'm going to read it for everyone to hear. It says, public speaking is a part of self-growth that is constantly evolving. You all have seen where I am thus far, but this is the insight of where I started and where I hope to get to. You have made the first step and a big step of becoming a Toastmaster. And it was our privilege to hear you give your first speech this evening. And I'm so grateful that I'm your evaluator. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about the things you did really well and just a couple things that you can improve on. You first started with a saying or a quote that I've heard all my life growing up. Children are always seen and not to be heard. I've heard that from my mom, my grandmother, and everyone else in the generations before me. And that was a part of my growing up and upbringing as well. We do not talk until we're spoken to. That was good because it brought the audience in to hear what more you have to say. The second part of your speech, you brought humor. That was refreshing. When you forgot the person's name, everyone smiled. When I looked at everyone's faces on Zoom, it was just, everyone was laughing. So we all had a chuckle, and that was definitely refreshing to hear. So you have humor, and I'm expecting to you do the contest for humor, the humor contest as well, participating. Second, positive feedback. Your body language came alive when you started to talk about cheerleading, and also when you joined the sorority. But things before that, you were just in one area. You didn't really move your hand, and your body language was a little stiff. But when you came alive, when you spoke about what made you start to make the advancement to come out of your shell, that part came alive. So we saw that. So I thank you for that. And it was a great pleasure in giving you the evaluation this evening. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Micheline. That was some valuable feedback, and thank you for presenting her introduction as well. Our next evaluator is Toastmaster Ray, doing the speech evaluation for Toastmaster Denny.
Am I muted? No, I'm not. I start my evaluation by saying, what a great speech. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters guests, and especially Denny. Thanks again for delivering another, your first awesome speech. This is your first speech, as we said, it is your icebreaker, and it's titled, A Little of My Story. When I read the title earlier today, I said, he's going to give us a good story here about himself, and you actually did this. As Shastri mentioned earlier in the speech, you showed passion while you were speaking, while you were telling us about yourself. You explained to us about how your life was like a compilation of stories, all the stories you had to bring to us. You mentioned to us being born in New York, which I could personally associate myself with. You talked about as well how you were learned by trials, and I could tell you I just actually had a talk with someone about maybe 2 hours ago. Just by trial and error, you need to go about, and this is how you go about and learn. And you spoke about this here. You've also spoke about the roles of a woman, of the special women that you had in your life, and the values that they brought to you. You also spoke about your bond with your godfather on here. And at the end, I know you talked this as well, that you mentioned to us that regarding how many of us enjoyed living a livelihood of others, but instead how you're bringing in happiness instead. Regarding your overall speech, you tried to be creative by bringing in a mic. We heard you clear. As mentioned, your speech was clear and easy to understand. You had eye contact during this speech. You were engaged. You used hand gestures, I noticed. And then regarding interest, well, you kept the audience engaged in your speech. Now, if there's one area that I could suggest to you, it would be getting a little more comfortable while you're giving your speeches. I noticed in some cases you might have been a little tense, or looked at least a little tense. Hopefully I'm wrong. on here, but I noticed that with some of the gestures you were doing there, you looked a little tense on it. So relax. This is what this is here for. I mean, even myself, I'm little by little relaxing. So, but overall, you did a great speech. I look forward to hearing you again. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster A. That good evaluation of Denny's speech. I think we appreciate the feedback and continue giving good evaluations. Our third and final evaluation for the evening is Toastmaster Stacy Kessler doing the speech evaluation for Toastmaster Woodland.
Sakase. Welcome, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, our dignitary, Heon Green, and the beautiful Woodland. The speech title that you entitled your speech this evening was about getting to know you, getting to know Woodland. And boy, did we get to know Woodland. It's been an honor on this journey to witness what I remember you as being the para of this group when you first arrived, and how you've come to conquer your fears, become the confident speaker. You are in place as this confident speaker to be the man that you get to look up to, Woodland. As you shared your story about your dad being deported, speaking into your heart and your feelings, it was such a relatable story for me. And how your mission has become to make a better life for your mom. How beautiful. We get to know an open, loving, vulnerable man. The American dream that you are achieving now in this lifetime, becoming the realtor that you wish to be. Your spiritual vision with your American dream will instill the sales of these homes to become so natural for you that you won't have to even put too many action steps into it besides just being you, because people will feel your honesty and your open heart. I want to suggest to you a couple of things in regards to what possibly you could look at for your future speeches. When you spoke to us this evening, you could see your eyes were looking at all of us. I felt your eye contact was great this evening. I would have loved to see you stand up and speak from your heart so that your voice possibly was more projected. The audience was engaged. I got to watch faces along with watching you in your space of sharing your speech this evening. Your comfort level on a scale from 1 to 10, I felt this evening was about an 8, which from when you came into this club, I witnessed you not even speaking and barely turning on your camera. I loved every moment of that. The clarity that you spoke this evening, it felt like we were part of the journey that you have been on. Excellent job tonight, Woodland. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, welcome this man into your heart as he is received. Congratulations, Woodland, Toastmaster of the Day and General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Stacy. Really appreciate that heartfelt evaluation, and it's amazing to see Woodland's progression. So Woodland, we're all very proud of you. Just as a heads up for our Archount and Grammarian, I'll be calling on you shortly for your reports. Timer, could we please get a timer's report on the speech evaluations?
Yes, all three evaluators were within time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonia. Toastmaster Ray, are we ready for the polls?
Yes, they're set, Ray.
Setting them up now, or sending it to, sorry, send it to everybody now. Closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ray. Toastmaster Michelle, could you please provide us with your grammarian's report for this evening?
Thank you, General Evaluator. There were no notable grammatic errors. I just had one concern. I don't know, another word should have been used instead of I don't know. There were no disparities between verb and subject agreement, which was good. Some notable words and phrases that I heard were my aversion to speaking, finding your own voice, children are to be seen and not heard. Also, it was remarkable to hear pain, which reflects my interior. I absolutely love the use of the phrase house of woodland cassius. The words just made that house and woodland together. A house is made of wood, and that really caught my attention. Sac passe was absolutely admirable. The use of that word and phrase to bring in the difference of language and how we understand language. And I also loved odds was stacked against me. The word of the day, pariah, that word was used 3 times during the meeting. General Evaluator, the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle. Great evaluation of the grammar for the evening. Toastmaster Shay, please provide us with your R counters report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gary. Today, we used a total of 22 filler words, which is really awesome for us as a club. The most commonly used filler word was between so and we had a couple double starts. The following Toastmasters did not use any filler words during the meeting. So I have a bunch of names to read off. That's Micheline, Sonia, Gary, Keon, Jack Miller, Thierry, Michelle, and I believe I'm missing one person, myself. That's it for tonight. That concludes my odd counter report, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shay. Good job with the flashlight. Now for my evaluation of the meeting. The meeting did start on time. There was a slight glitch with the initial Toastmaster script, so I don't believe that we welcomed the guests or dignitaries at the beginning of the meeting. The theme of the meeting was missed initially. We mentioned that in table topics, and I know the invocation will be coming too soon. The general evaluator's introduction was also skipped as part of the initial meeting. I know that's just something that we'll work on. The Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster and President Shastri, did lead us in applause, and he asked us all to applause and use the features available to us within Zoom. And I believe everyone did a good job of applauding and supporting the speakers. The one speech introduction was overlooked. We caught up to that later on in the meeting. That's just something that we'll need to pay attention to going forward. The transitions between the formal speeches was smooth, and Toastmaster Shastri was definitely paying attention to the speakers and gave a bit of feedback on each of the speeches. So good job on that. I think the meeting will end on time, so that shouldn't be an issue. Table topics, Connie did a great job with that. She mentioned the theme of the meeting and the topics related to the theme. She called on a lot of our guests, which was good to see. So it was always good hearing the guests participating as well. The topics were mentioned twice before the names were called. In terms of the table topics participants, as I mentioned, everyone did a really good job with that. Toastmaster Hyun did a good artful dodge, and that was exactly what I was planning to do if I got called on. So good job. All three of our evaluators gave balanced feedback, mentioned some areas that they liked and some areas for improvement on the speech. So thank you to all our evaluators for that. Our timer, Toastmaster Sonia, is on top of all the timing signals. So good job with that. Appreciate that. Our count and grammarian, you ladies both did a great job with that as well. So thank you for providing the club with some helpful feedback in those areas as well. This concludes the general evaluation of the meeting. Back over to Toastmaster of the day and President, Toastmaster Shastri Stewart.
And thank you, Gary, for doing such an awesome job. You're a very good listener, I've noticed, and also pays attention very, very well. Astute focus, I guess. All right, so it's time for our awards. Ray, are we ready?
We are ready.
All right, so we all know that all our speakers came out first because it's the icebreaker, so everyone will be getting an award.
That is correct.
Yes, Danny, Diana, and Woodland, great job to you all three. All right, so we'll do a general evaluation first.
So in first place for table topic, winner is Theory Aim. Sorry if I mispronounced it.
Hey, May, thank you very much. Okay.
Awesome job.
All right, thank you.
And in first place for Best Evaluator, our winner is Stacy Kessler.
Thank you all dearly. Thank you.
All right. All right, so that is it. We had 8:04. Just want to highlight our guests. And I'll ask you just one word that you could use to describe tonight's meeting. Thierry?
Inspiring.
Awesome. Thank you, Thierry, for being here. And
pleasure's always mine.
We have Matthew. Give us one word that would explain tonight's meeting.
I would say insightful.
Insightful. Awesome. Thank you for being here, Matthew. Feel free to be here next week if you'd like. Melissa, give us one word that would explain tonight's meeting.
I would say inclusive.
Inclusive. Awesome. And I don't see Jordan. Where is Jordan? Hold on. Is he gone?
Yes, I believe he dropped out of the meeting.
He dropped out. Okay. All right. So I believe that is it. Everyone did a wonderful job. I haven't forgotten about you, Jack. I just want to do a few announcements. On February the 20th, which is a Saturday, we do have our area contest. I will be participating along with Connie. I believe you're participating, right? And who else? Shay? I can't remember who were the other participants, but I know myself. So please come to support. It's at 1 p.m.
Micheline and
Micheline, yeah.
And there's one more, and Sujana.
And Sujana, Micheline, Sujana, and Shastri, and I believe Denny. Yeah, will be representing Club Wellington. It's at 1 p.m. via Zoom. Okay, so please come to support. And then on the 13th of February, we do have our TLI, which is our Leadership Institute for Education on Officers. So if you'd like to join, please feel free to do so. Also, we have our Invite Our Guest Challenge. So we had several guests tonight. So thank you for whoever introduced them or brought them to our meeting tonight. Thank you for doing that. We do plan to award a gift card, a $20 gift card for the winner of February who brings the most guests. So please feel free to do that. Also, the guests on the call, you could stay behind for 5 minutes to talk to our VP of Membership if you have any additional questions. All right, now without any further ado, Jack, take us home.
You're on mute, Jack.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, to start with this word pariah, there's a whole lot of people in the world right now feeling like pariah for no fault of their own. The world has been dealt a challenge to deal with like none other in our lifetimes. Yet collectively, we're coming together. Collectively, we're working through this and we're getting stronger. And that's the way nature challenges us. So the inspirational word of today is from a book called The Art of Living by Robert Leichman and Carl Japiski, two of my favorite authors. It says, the mind has been infused with the spirit of discovery. And once we learn to harness and direct it, the mind becomes a remarkable channel for growth and development. Let's go out there and harness and direct the powers of our mind to take us into new vistas of opportunity. God bless you all.
Thank you, Jack. That was beautiful.
Thought I lost my volume.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Have a great week,
Bonne
everybody.
Bonne soirée. Thank you very much. Cheers.